major problems for a lot of individuals that try to take their glass out and they put it back in wrong, and then your stove doesn't work, or it will work for a short period of time, and then it will end up shutting down on you. So it's rather imperative that you understand that if you do wish to take your glass panels off, take note and just follow the instructions as to how I take it apart and put it back together. Taking it apart's a breeze. Okay, let's get started. Now, here's the first bracket. This is when the door's all the way open, all the way to the left. And I'm just going to turn it just to show you what you have. Okay, here's the inside. Here is your glass insulator gasket. If by chance you have to have this flat gasket, give us a call. We'll hook you up. So there's the first one. So at this point here, some of you, this might not be sealed and it might fall off. Snap a picture of where it's located if need be, just so that you know step by step as to what's going on. So set it off to the side and let's go for the next one. Now I do want to make something very clear here. See how I took that first glass holder off? See how loose this is? Be very careful that you hang on to it as you're taking it apart, because I'm going to be transparent. I've dropped a glass. I broke the glass. You know, it's an inconvenience. You don't want to go through that. Now there is something, it might at times, especially when you get to this point here, depending on how tight this support is on the glass, if you take this off, you're holding this one here can potentially fall out. So just be very careful when you're removing it. Take note of how loose this center glass is. Now, another thing, these will snap off. And as you can see what I'm doing here, I'm moving it back and forth because the threads on the bolt are kind of rusted in. You do not want to snap the head off. Don't know if many of you have tried to drill and tap something. You know, it's not that difficult, but it's an inconvenience. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm rocking it back and forth, just making sure that I do not lock up that bolt and snap the head off. Because this one here is pretty stuck. Having to rethread your door is never fun. Okay, that glass is in there quite well. This one here, not so much. But let me set this down. Set it off to the side. Now I want to show you something here. Can you see that there? The corner of that glass is cracked. If it does allow air into your stove, then your stove is going to take on a mind of its own, and it's going to drive you crazy. So you can order this glass from us, and this is the original. See the Austroflamm logo? This glass has survived 30 plus years. That's pretty awesome. The new glass will not have the logo. On these center brackets, you have these little spacers here. See those little spacers? You don't want to lose those. Now this one did have a missing spacer up here on top, and it was held in with just the bolt. That's fine. It will hold it in there, but having a spacer is the proper way to have it installed. Now this bracket here was sitting here just like this, right? You can see the gasket. It's pretty explanatory how it's mounted on there. Let's just see what we got here. Now this bracket right here is really helping to hold it into place, and I'm going to hang on to it here, and I'm just going to kind of, let me turn this here. I'm just going to kind of tighten this bracket down just so that it's got a good hold on this glass here, because this is where it gets kind of tricky unless you have an extra set of hands. Now this door is pretty seized, so I have to really be careful in taking these out. There it goes. That broke loose. Now, if by chance they're seized in there, get yourself some oil and just coat the bolt. Just let it sit and loosen itself up. Do not try to force it. Just let the oil do its thing. That bracket is literally bonded in there. I should say that spacer. Now here we go. We got a pretty tight one here. All right, this is where I'm going to stop. I'm going to get some oil and soak it, because that one there is a little bit too risky. Let me go over here though. So she handed me 3-in-1. It's not. Oil's oil. What I got? Oil's oil. Just let her rip. See that? Just give her a good, soaking. As you can see, had one missing right here. That one's a little too risky. Okay. See how this bracket sits in there? That is pressured on by the glass bracket holders, okay? And as soon as this glass is loose, this bracket just falls out. Now if you take a look at it, All it is just like a carriage, just to hold the glass into place. See how the bracket is angled in towards the firebox? Okay, that's the way it's supposed to be. So what's happening is this carriage bracket is this part of it right. Let's see if I can turn this. Let me set the glass down. Okay, so here's the inside, here's the outside, and this is how it was sitting on your stove. Okay, like so. Now what it's doing is, if you look at this side, is not run solid. That is an air wash. So it sits on there like that, and it creates this gap, the thickness, in order to allow fresh air to come in the bottom of the glass. All right? Do not, please understand me here, do not silicone that. Do not think that you have an air issue problem and it's because you have air entering your stove here. That is a factory design, okay? And this bracket here has created a lot of interest because a lot of people don't necessarily know how to reinstall it. I just showed you. Yeah, if I end up being able to back one of these bolts out and it creates more of a gap in here between the bolt and the bracket, just add oil so it gets down in there and then kind of tighten it back down again and move it back and forth and get that oil working in those threads. This is something that you have to have patience with. You do not want to try to rush this. The patience is well worth not having to deal with the inconvenience of drilling and tapping your door. Now, once you get it close, hang on to your glass. See how the glass is wobbling? There we go, break free. There you go. There's the back side. You can see the gasket is fastened to it, and the gasket is on the glass side. Big. Okay, there you go. This bracket's in really fine condition. So again, that's how it went. Just like that. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna soak this with more oil and I'm gonna just let it sit and be happy. You're finding out that if you don't use the right gasketing material, what's going to happen is it's going to allow too much airflow into the stove. It's going to, on the Rikas, it's going to throw air codes. On the Austroflamms, it's going to basically just shut down, or you're going to have air sensor issues due to the fact that too much air is getting through that door. Okay, we have the proper gasketing material. It's a high density gasket, which is necessary with the Austroflamm and Rika because it was designed that way at the factory, and all the specifications, the way that the airflow sensor operates is all designed to use this particular gasket. Okay, we have them in stock. Don't try to use a white gasketing material. The white gasketing materials are too soft, too spongy. And what's going to happen is you're going to go through all the work of changing out that gasket, and you're going to find that your stove's going to start malfunctioning. So offgridstoves@gmail.com. That's the quickest way to get a hold of us. Literally, we'll get back to you on the average of within 1 to 2 hours, depending on what time of the season it is. But we have more than enough of these kits in stock to get you up and running and eliminate that problem of having too much air entering your stove and then making mama unhappy. So you guys stay safe out there. Peace.